It's friendly, it's creative, it's collaborative. I get to work with my colleagues and lessons, and formally, informally plan meetings, discussing different learning strategies over a coffee in the staff room. It's busy sometimes as well. We need to give learners what we'd call an educated imagination, the ability to understand various different situations and to be informed, to have the skills, the knowledge, the understanding to adapt themselves to a world that's ever changing. The Nexus Way is a real effort to articulate fundamentally what we value in education. What makes Nexus unique is our use of technology, and not just our acceptance that technology is intrinsically good, but we take a critical approach to it. We have enough expertise and enough support to actually use technology in a way that is going to develop our learners' understanding. We don't use technology for technology's sake. If you consider Howard Gardner's paper, he talks about the 5 minds for the future. And a couple of them are the respectful and the ethical mind. And as part of the Nexus Way, we try to develop intercultural competency, which is part of international mindedness. Now, we have to consider that the world in many ways is getting smaller, we're closer together, but the world is also in many ways getting more distant. The art of communication, you might argue, is getting lost. And the more sensitive our learners are to the needs, context of others, the more aware they are of their own context, their own identity, the more empowered they're going to be as individuals. The Nexus Way is incorporated in my classroom largely through a co-constructivist approach. Mm-hmm. So what you try to do, and it's funny as a teacher because you have to shed your ego, and that's really quite liberating. But it's about placing the learner's understanding at the same level as your own, and so giving them the opportunities to work through their understanding, and that's often through a process of inquiry. Mm-hmm. And starting with these big questions, with these concept-based questions that you give learners the time, the freedom, the choice to explore. You'll see the Nexus Way in my classroom through the explicit reference to mindsets, through reference to PATS ATLs. It's all well and good to have learners have a discussion, but if they don't have the skills to have a fruitful discussion, then I think we're doing them a disservice. Assessment in my classroom is summative because it has to be. Mm-hmm. We're trying to get the learners somewhere. But we also use assessment as learning. And what we do is that we try to place the learners' learning on a continuum. If a learner struggles with a paragraph structure, for example, we take that idea of structure, we take that concept of structure, and we try to apply that to the next piece of work that they're doing. We don't just stop their learning, oh, they've turned in an essay, that's brilliant, let's finish. The next time they're doing some creative writing, I might say, are you going to focus on your structure? Mm-hmm. We know that that's something that you can develop. Just because a piece of work is finished, their learning's not done. Mm-hmm. And neither's mine. And I think, again, what you find at Nexus is that the learners will come with you on that journey. They're quite receptive to that. They really help you. For me, I find that the learners have really helped me develop my own practice, because you are able to have a reflective conversation with them, and they're mature enough, they understand enough about the way that they're being taught, mm-hmm. and some of the pedagogical influences, for them to make informed decisions and comments on how the learning's going. Being able to disseminate different resources and differentiate them is made a lot easier just simply by using technology. Being able to use something like Quizlet Live, where you've got learners engaging, having a big discussion, but also using technology, what that does is it creates a variety of learning experiences. And at some point, one of those learners is going to connect to one of those opportunities. And I think that's what it's about. It's about varying the diet. You know, you can't have a learner come into your classroom and always know what the formula of a lesson is going to be. You have to vary it. You've got to keep it exciting. You've got to keep it fun. You have to give the opportunities for calm, because some learners need that too. And I think if you can vary your diet as much as possible, at some point you're going to find a learner that finds it appetizing.